Hello, hello. Welcome to this hour of insight, the open forum where you can ask literally any question at all that you have on your mind. And I just want to kind of frame this. The work that we do around money is liberation work. It is empowerment work. It is soul work and spiritual work. It's radically uncomfortable. It is anti-racist work. And you should be having lots of questions about it. Which doesn't necessarily mean that you should be bringing them here, although you're welcome to. But I want to really begin today by framing these two truths. One, that the work around money, the work around your business, the work around sales, that all of that is social justice work. It is meant to be social justice work as much as it is meant to be spiritual work. You are meant to thrive. And the work that you need to do in order to thrive is your work to do. And that's meant to be kind of like a rally cry, like an inspiration and an affirmation. The second piece is you should, there's no shoulds, but you should have questions, which is really more like give yourself permission to have questions. Give yourself permission to be in the mystery, to be in the exploration, to be in the study, to be in the discomfort of not knowing. To feel the truth that your questions are an aspect of your mastery. When you become masterful, you already are. So there's a hint right there. Well, when you become, when you really step into your mastery, that doesn't mean that all the questions go away. I think if anything, it means that there's more questions and they're more fun to ask. So so much of what I'm saying right now is the result of me asking questions about race for the last 2 weeks, let's say. I've been asking questions about race for 20 years, in a quite focused way, but George Floyd's death catalyzed something new in me, a new set of questions, a new set of contemplations. How do I want to speak to this? How do I want to integrate working towards an anti-racist society into my business? What's already embedded? What am I missing? What needs to be turned up? How do I want to focus? And over and over and over again, the more that I'm studying how to be anti-racist, the more that I'm watching the movies and reading the books and listening to the podcast and following all of you guys on social media and looking at what you're talking about, the more that I lean into my questions about it, the stronger the affirmation has come in. That the work that I'm doing is the anti-racist work. The work that we are doing is the anti-racist work. Why? Well, let's talk a little bit about what it means to be an anti-racist. I'm going to refer heavily on Ibram Kendi's book, How to Be an Anti-Racist, which I have not finished reading. I'm just in it right now. And in the beginning, he frames that the heartbeat of racism is denial. What's the heartbeat of our getting stuck? What's the heartbeat of our fixed mindset around money? What's the heartbeat of our struggle to change in any arena of our life? Denial, an unwillingness to look, a resistance to seeing the truth of what is already in us. Why? Because we judge it. Just like we judge racism, we make it wrong. And don't get me wrong, these racist beliefs, racist thoughts, racist actions, I'm not championing those things. But when and Ibram Kendi talks about this, writes about this, preaches about this, really, when we create a kind of like resistance through shame, then we can't see the truth. What's the heartbeat of anti-racism? Ibram Kendi says, confession. The willingness to look at the truth of who we are without running away, without shaming ourselves, without going to guilt, without making it wrong. As hard as it is to not make it wrong, that when you look at your racism, it's the same as when you look at your bank account and you see something that contrasts with what you want to see. Okay, great. Now we're in it. Now change is possible. The heartbeat of transformation is the willingness to look, not from a place of shame, not from a place of like hunting for problems, making things wrong, guilting yourself for not being good enough. None of that. That's the pattern. That's the problem you're trying to solve, or it's connected to the problem that you're trying to solve. To be willing to look, love with curiosity. What am I doing here? What am I doing? Wait, really? So as we go deeper, those of you that are really doing some deep anti-racist work know that what you're doing there is the work you need to do around anything you want to change in your life. And if money is one of those things, and I recommend that you claim that you are practicing the same thing. You are practicing looking at the truth without running away. Whether you're doing the anti-racist work, whether you're doing the work around money, same. Deeper than that, if you want to look at it, underneath racism anywhere in the world is classism. So you doing your work around money, you doing the work to actually understand money, get conscious around money, get empowered around money, feel clear about how you want to work with money is critical to you being able to do any good in the realm of changing systemic oppression, in particular racism. And I'll go on the opposite extreme. I'm kind of assuming in this moment that everyone that's listening is already kind of engaged in this anti-racist work, but I'll go further and say that if you're not thinking about anti-racism right now, you have a blind spot. And if you're a spiritual teacher, if you're a healer, if you're a therapist, if you are an energy worker, if you are a coach and you are cultivating blind spots, that's your work. The anti-racist work is everyone's work. It's everyone's work. This is like, what does it mean to be a human? Everyone is being called to look at this. And what's happening is that what you're seeing, the division that is still I would say, an amplified division that's emerging is not white or black. It's not KKK or super far left. It's who's willing to look at the truth of what they're doing, of when they are being racist, and who's not, who wants to just brush it under the rug. It's a separation based on consciousness. It's a separation based on awareness. Sri, maybe let's flip it around and get this in here. Are you a consciousness expert? Do you have a spiritual practice? Are you meditating every day? Do you teach yoga? If consciousness is part of your mastery, then anti-racism better be part of your work, internally or externally. Meaning you don't necessarily have to get on YouTube Live and talk about it like I am right now. You can, but it may not be that it shows up that way, but it should be showing up somewhere in your life. And I will claim the should here. Because if you're listening to me, you want growth, you want change, you want transformation. So claim it. Claim it. Use the work around racism to up-level your consciousness in general. Use the work around racism to highlight where you've had some unconsciousness that you didn't even realize. No big deal. Like, what's new? You think you're ever going to reach a point where you're not, like, where you're perfectly conscious about everything? That will never happen. That's not the goal. The goal here is growth. The goal here is expansion. The goal here is integration. The goal here is service, contribution, waking up. And the joy that comes from that, the connection that comes from that, the deepening in our relationship with the divine, in our relationship with ourselves, and in our relationship with each other when we do that work. Are you with me? Are you feeling this? Are you making sense of this? If you have questions, now's a great time to ask. Get on here with me live. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what comes up for you around the intersection of your service, your business, the money that you're meant to make, and anything else that's coming up for you. We do not have to talk about racism. We can. Let's go deep. If you are currently watching on Instagram, I invite you to join on Facebook or YouTube so you can actually see both me and the people that are asking questions. And if you have a question, text 646-801-0672 with your name and your question, and we'll bring you right on. Lar, shall we dive in? I see you, I feel you.
Hello.
Hello, Mama.
I had a question, but after listening to your introduction, I have a different one.
We can talk about both if you want.
Okay, so
maybe you might find that they're more connected maybe than you realize.
So my first question was about selling to friends, because most of the people that I have coaching conversation with are people I got to know in a friendly circle before I was a coach. And my second question is, I'm completely in the blind spot of my white privilege. When I was listening to you, I was like, okay, what should I do in my business? Should I reach out and offer coaching for free to other people? And then I feel extremely bad to say it, but I actually don't know anyone. Like, this is how white I am. Like, well, I'm sure I'm really messy with that because I'm not educated enough. But I was like, oh. So my question was, do you have like ideas of what I could do?
So we'll go in reverse order. We will, and they are connected, but we'll start with this race question. So, but it's actually a nice solution to your first question. So I'm glad you brought them both here. So first of all, I would highly recommend that you read Ibram Kendi's book, How to Be an Anti-Racist. Just start there. Required reading, I would say, for every human, not just white people, all people. He also did I recently listened to a beautiful podcast that he did with Brene Brown, which is fun and messy. And I mean, you hear Brene just kind of like questioning herself left and right. It's very cute. So study it, like learn about it. And as you're reading it, again, because you're here, Lar, and anyone that's listening to this, read it through both lenses. Like look at, okay, what am I wanting to do around my relationship with racism? How am I going to show up around it? Just kind of hold that as a question for yourself. How am I meant to serve? How am I meant to incorporate this into my life? What wants to move through me uniquely? At the same time, I want you to look for, how is this connected to the mindset work I already do? How are these the same? How is this racism work, this anti-racist work, leveraging my experience as a mindset expert, as a coach, as a healer, as a spiritual teacher, look for connections, like look for opportunities to make this feel like actually this isn't a new thing that you need to be focused on. This is the same thing in a new context. Does that make sense?
Yes, and it feels good. Because before I asked the question, it felt like a burden, something I had to do on top. And I felt a bit, this is too much.
I love that you brought that up. I think a lot of people feel that way. And it can feel, I mean, the state of the world can feel overwhelming. Right? This goes back to the when we transition from, I'm going to keep using Kendi's words, when we transition from denial, avoidance, resistance to what he calls confession, which I think there's an energetic transmission when he says it that's important. Like this is not a like shameful confession necessarily. It's a liberating confession. It's a liberated confession. It's a willingness to look at the truth confession. So when we make that transition from denial to confession, from avoidance to openness, from resistance to curiosity, when we make that transition, we're at risk to move through some guilt and shame. And overwhelm is a wonderful defense against guilt and shame. So if we get overwhelmed first, we just won't make the transformation. Well, this is too much for me. I can't deal with it. I'm just going to like watch Netflix. Totally human. Totally human. I swear every single person that's watching this has had that moment, probably in the last 24 hours. Okay. So even when you have that, you bring mercy. Okay. Yes, of course. This is normal. This is human. This is also part of the human experience. And I know that actually there is a path of ease here too. What is it? What would it look like for anti-racist work to be easy for me? What would it look like for it to be fun for me? What would it look like for it to be so integrated in the work I'm already doing? It doesn't feel like anything extra. What would that look like? Do it that way. And now here's the fun part. Can I just go ahead and like transition you to your other question, Laura?
Yeah.
So you're talking about you didn't actually ask a question, but what I heard you saying in the first part was my immediate circle is limited. And they're the only ones that I'm talking to about coaching. It's
more that I feel the coaching help. I know you, I mean, I also feel shame about that because, the people I have sales conversation with are people that I've also had friendship with.
Yes.
I feel bad for asking them to pay for something that I feel should be part of the friendship package.
So there's two issues that are going on. I'm just, because we're kind of in this, I'm still going to answer this and then I'll come to this last piece that you're talking about. One of the things that's going to be really fun for you is expanding your network. Okay. And you're on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
What's your Instagram handle?
Lori.Lakshmi.
Okay.
I don't even know it.
So next time you come on the Q&A, use your Instagram handle because that way everybody can find you. We'll tag you and you just said it. So people that are here now can find you, but this is worthwhile for you. So go on Instagram and start looking for people of color that intrigue you. Challenge yourself, even though now white people are no longer muting, right? Like there was a period of time, the first week of June, when there were a bunch of white people muting, you had better chance of seeing people of color in your feed during that week. But challenge yourself to follow so many people of color that you're genuinely interested in, that your feed reflects back to you a dramatic change in your network. So that the next time we talk, you're like, yeah, I now have friends of all color. I see them on my feed. because they're here. I promise you. And they're actually super easy to find. And Instagram makes it so easy. And I'm telling you this from experience. Like, I've been actively following more and more people. I've never given myself that task before. It didn't occur to me that I needed to do that. That was not like, that was a blind spot for me. And then that first week in June, I was horrified by how even during the muting, even when all the people, like most of the people that I follow are like kind of with it, they were doing the muting, still my feed was full of white people. And I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. Look what I've done. Look what I've created for myself. Okay, I don't want to see only white people every day, all day. So what do I need to do? I'm gonna go find some people. And I'm telling you, it's been the easiest thing I've ever done. It's super fun to use Instagram and go down the rabbit hole. I think other people have used social media in this way before, but I missed it. I missed the memo. So as you expand your network, you're going to end up talking to people that are not just people that you've been friends with. You'll make new friends. You'll make new collaborative relationships. All kinds of things will come from this. Part of the challenge, now this is going to your final question. You have two challenges embedded in the question. One is that you have too many friends in your network that you're trying to coach. And you just need to meet people that haven't been friends before so that you can have those conversations when there's no history. That's healthy. It's healthy to do that. On the flip side, it's very normal for a new coach, relatively new coach, and even not so relatively new, because this still happens to me, for your people, your potential clients to come from your social circles or the people that they know, like extended social circle. And so the frame that you give that is very important. It's entirely personal, Laura. You can design this however you want. So that's my next question for you is, do you want to coach friends? Do you want your friends to pay? Do you want your friends to hire you?
I want my friends to experience coaching. I want my friends to, if they want it, to move out of their box and out of what they trap themselves in.
Okay, but do you want to do that with them?
Yeah, I think it's really fun. It creates a super intimate relationship on another level, and it's cool.
I think that for the kind of person that you're talking about, I think it's tricky because if they don't know what coaching is, they don't really know what they're saying yes to in a friendship context. They don't have enough information to decide if they want to include coaching in their friendship with you or not. If it's someone like, if you have a friend and they're another coach, you guys can navigate that, I think, with a lot of maturity, because you're both coaches. You can decide what are the parameters of our friendship. Do we want to coach each other? Do we want to not coach each other? But with a friend who has never experienced coaching, it creates a power dynamic that will change the friendship. And I don't think you can do it cleanly unless they hire you, in which case it changes from being a friendship to being a coaching relationship. So here's the most extreme version. Okay, if you want to keep this just squeaky clean, and also this is what a lot of people would advise. So there's lots of people who would encourage you to say yes to this. Not the only option, but on one extreme is I don't mix coaching and friendship. So if I have friends and they want coaching, they got two options. One, they hire me and we don't talk too much about the coaching. Like they just step into it. Or I refer them to Jesse or Toku or Demi or the 70 other coaches that I just talked to in the last week, right? Like you got tons of people you can refer them to. That's the extreme. That's the place where there's going to be the most Simplicity. That's going to be the easiest, the cleanest. How does that feel to you?
Super helpful. The question of the fact that they don't know what they step into and it might change the power dynamic. I didn't see that before. And it's a very valid point.
It's really important. I think that it's something that everyone that's coaching has to experience, has to go through and sort out for themselves. Because people will be drawn to you. You have to decide on the flip side, I think you have to decide what you want in friendship. Because it may be that a lot of the people that you're currently friends with are meant to be clients and not friends. It may be. It's worth looking at. So would you like an assignment, an exercise?
Sure. I mean, you already gave me a lot of work, but one more is good.
So you got the anti-racist book. That's good work. Following people on Instagram is just fun. I wouldn't even think of that as work. In terms of this, I would write out, again, revise if you've done it before. Write out your ideal client. Who are they? How do they show up? What do they want to change in their lives? How do you recognize them? And as a separate exercise, write down what you love to experience in friendship, in personal relationship, how you want to show up there and how you want to be met there. And let them be completely separate exercises. I think I would even do them at different, do them on different days. Don't do them back to back. And then after you've done both exercises, then put them next to each other and just see how much overlap is there. And depending on what you find, then maybe you bring another question, because there may be more for us to talk about. If they're completely not overlapping, I think that's super easy. But chances are there will be some overlap. And then that's where, with me or with your coach, bring those questions to your coach. Because those are nuanced questions. I think that's a deeper conversation. It's worthy of doing that with your coach.
Thanks.
De rien. It's always lovely to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope to see you in July.
Yes, I want to email you about the timing to see if it works with European hours.
Great. Beautiful. Awesome. Thanks so much for bringing these juicy questions. I love seeing you.
Me too.
Yeah. Beautiful. Let's talk about money. Anybody got some questions about money? Just noticing maybe we have some collective resistance to talking about money. Been a while since somebody brought the all right, I want to make some. Where is it? Can we go there? Can we talk more about that? So just, again, no pressure, but just notice, take a moment and see, are you completely satisfied with your financial situation right now? Is that you have all the money you want and need? You feel totally free about it. When you look out at the world and think about money, you feel totally free and open. If that's the case, okay, you're exempt from this. But I don't feel that way. And I feel pretty masterful around money. So if you are listening to me, chances are you've got some noise around money somewhere. There's something that you want that you haven't figured out how to bring in. There's something that you are reaching for that you haven't allowed yourself to accept. There's something. It could even be that when you look out at the world and you see the injustice, you see the inequity, that it triggers you. And you feel defensive or confused or angry or shame. So let's talk about that too. Let's continue to use this time to go deeper. All right. Hari Hari Rati Rasa. Let's dive in.
Hey.
Hello, gorgeous. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How can I help you today?
My question is, how do I, when trying to connect with clients or potential clients, how do I make a clear and concise, direct message to them without getting too wordy, too salesy, and just kind of open and personal, but yeah, not too weird.
What could you do that would be weird? Like, give me an example.
So a lot of the time I'm kind of scrolling through Instagram trying to find my clients, and I'll look through their pages, and I don't want to get too oh yeah, I saw that you have 3 kids already. I just kind of want to be like, hey, I see that you're an expecting mama, and wondering if you have any plans for postpartum care, kind of thing. And I don't want to be too wordy. And so I don't know if what I've been messaging is too wordy, or if it's open, or anyway, going in that and along that way.
This is a beautiful question. I think also one that's really relevant for probably everyone that's watching, because this is what it means to network in COVID times, right? Like, networking is basically internet stalking until you find people that you're genuinely interested in.
Right.
That you whether it's like Laura, I was just coaching her to find people of color that she's genuinely interested in, just like superficially, because they have non-white skin, so that her feed is more diverse.
Totally.
But it's the same activity when you're looking for potential clients. And there's kind of like an energetic sweet spot where you want to be clear. I'm looking for clients. This is how I recognize them. For you, it's very concrete in many ways. They're expecting moms. And at the same time, that you're not coming from a creepy, grabby, needy place.
Right.
And so that's an energetic thing that has nothing to do with the words that you use. It has nothing to do with how many words you use, or how it's 100. You could say the same thing, and if you have these two different energies, it'll land completely differently.
Okay.
So that's first and foremost. This is a going underneath technology. It's like, what are you doing on the inside? And is it a match to what you want to be doing, or is it a little unconscious and it needs a little tweaking?
Okay.
And you be really merciful and kind with yourself, because you are doing visibility work when you do this, Rasa. So you're putting yourself out there, and as soon as you put yourself out there, you are at risk to be rejected.
Right.
So it's very normal for you to also feel some kind of sudden, bizarre, weird parts of you emerge that are trying to protect you from that rejection. So then it's like, oh, hello. Oh, hello, weirdness. Hi. You're trying to protect me, aren't you? Yes. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. You know what? You can just chill. I don't actually need your protection right now, though. I appreciate you showing up. I don't need you right now. Right? That's the boundary.
Mm-hmm.
Creepiness, trying to protect me from rejection. No, thank you. I'll take the rejection. Come on, give it to me.
Right.
Because that energetic freedom is what makes you so magnetic. And think about when we met in India and had all those meals together. And you were just like, let me tell you what's true. Unapologetic, fucking baller, confident, guru energy you were bringing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
That's the version of you that everybody needs. Not everybody's going to want that. And not everybody's going to say yes to that when you do that. But that's who you bring, because that's the only one that can actually help. What are you getting from this?
I'm loving this. I think that it's definitely a growth edge for me to be able to bring that out for everybody. I think that I have this habit of like wanting to adapt to whoever I'm speaking to. And so I kind of like, oh, you need this? Okay, I can be that. And then I like adjust to like what they need, which is okay in some circumstances. And also I need to be able to have that strength and being like, this is me though. And I have this to present and I have this to offer.
That's right.
And so, yeah.
It's funny. There's a framework that's emerging. I'm sure that other people have created frameworks around this, but in me, like the piece that I hear when you're talking about that, I identify with the butler. Like the energy of the servant, and not the spiritual servant, the physical servant, right? Whose entire job it is to literally hide who they are and be who they are wanted to be. Their whole job is to play a role. And there's a lot of jobs like that. Like this is a very mainstream cultural norm. So this is not I'm saying butler, I think, because it's like kind of out of date and it helps people feel into the energy. But the actual truth is that most jobs are butler kind of jobs. I will make myself as impersonal and neutral and like take myself out of the equation as much as I can, and I will be whoever you want me to be.
Right.
And in the extreme, I mean, immediately as I said that, I was like, sex workers are like the extreme version of that.
Sure.
I'm generalizing here, but that like energetically in our society. So I'm not talking about necessarily the people, but the role. Let me remove myself from this, perhaps even dissociate from this so that you can have the thing that you want. That is not what your role, your business demands. Your role, your business demands your authority, your leadership, your unapologetic truth-telling and consistency. And part of your role is this like sweet, tender caretaker. So you will nurture and nourish these mamas. That's the whole mission. But you can't nurture and nourish them from the place of doing their laundry.
Right.
That's not your role. Have you watched Self-Made?
No.
I think it's on Netflix. This is fun because this is also like, Black Lives Matter promoted right now because it's the beautiful story of a woman named C.J. Walker who was truly, I think her parents were slaves. I think that's right. Like slavery was not too far off from her life. And the beginning of her story in the Netflix series shows her doing laundry for a living. But she fucking knows she's here for more. And she creates this huge hair industry. And as and it's a big deal because her identity has got to change as her role changes. And she's actually kind of supernatural in her capacity to do that. She makes it look real easy to just make that switch. But I think that's worth watching because it's definitely worth watching for lots of reasons. But like specifically for you, specifically at this time, to kind of watch and identify with the part of her that is a laundress and feel what has to change in her to claim, actually, no, I'm meant to be. I think she's the first American self-made millionaire.
Wow.
I think that I might be missing the data there, but she's definitely a first millionaire of some kind. And I think she might be just period the first, a Black woman.
Beautiful.
Super, super inspiring. So I think it's 4 episodes. Super fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
More homework. I love it.
So just to come back to the very specific piece that you're talking about, she was the first woman millionaire, Shri is reminding me. So first female millionaire. Amazing, amazing story. When you're reaching out on Instagram, that you are feeling yourself as that authority. And when this one comes in, that you're just like, honey, baby, I don't need your protection. Like the laundress might need your protection, but not this bitch. I don't need any protection, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Then when you reach out, people will feel that you're not trying to hook them in. You're not trying to get them to like you so that you
Right.
can feel good about yourself. And when you take that out of the equation, then you are freeing them to say yes or no. Do they want support or not? And the final thing I'll say about that is that you just want to create a context where actual conversation is possible. So if you say too much, you're communicating that you don't want conversation.
Right.
So ask a question and then shut up and listen.
Okay.
And then see what they say. And then respond and use your generator organism to just be with this woman where she is. Trust
Sounds
yourself.
good. Okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome. I can't wait to hear how this goes.
Thank you, Jesse.
You're welcome, Rasa. Enjoy your day.
You too.
All right. Juicy, juicy. I would love to know, those of you that are watching, what are you getting for yourself as you watch? What next steps are you claiming and committing to? So if we just have a new insight or a new awareness and we don't do anything with it, then nothing will change, right? New results require new action. So what's the new action that you're going to take inspired by my preaching, Lara's question, Rasa's question? What are you getting and what are you going to do with it? All right. I think we have one more question. Welcome,
Hello.
Nyla.
Hi, Jesse. How are you?
Am I saying your name right?
Yes, you are.
Where are you coming from today?
California, Cupertino area, besides
Amazing.
San Francisco.
Beautiful. So not too far.
Yes.
I'm delighted to be with you in real time. How can I help you today?
I'm so excited to talk to you. I just knew a few days ago, and now I'm talking to you.
Yeah. Look at how fast you're going.
So I make it real and I'll say, oh yeah, let's do it.
Yes. Yeah, this is actually a beautiful illustration of exactly what I was just talking about, kind of to the masses. That like people are getting new insights, new experience all the time. And the question is, what are you doing with it? So this story you just shared is one example. You like found out about me, you watched a couple of videos, you were like, there's something here, and here you are.
Exactly.
So fucking congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I have a question for you. I don't know if you can help me in that, but
well, wait.
Oh, okay.
Before you ask the question,
sure.
I want to invite you to decide that this is going to be helpful, either because I'm helpful or because you're helpful or both. But like come into the question asking with the sense of possibility that like, yeah, like I think this is going to be helpful.
It will be helpful for sure.
Yeah. Do you feel the difference energetically?
Yes.
I
do.
love that that was beautiful. Beautiful pivot. Okay, keep going.
So, do you follow your heart or your brain or your mind when it comes to money? You know?
Ooh.
So your heart wants something, small, beautiful, enough for you, but your brain is like, can do bigger stuff, bigger houses, bigger businesses, companies, handle a lot. But deep inside your heart, you just want to be small, simple, quiet. So which one do you follow?
So this question is actually very interesting because what I hear you asking is, do I follow my head or my heart when it comes to money? But it's also, I think it's a deeper question. Almost like, how do I navigate it when my heart and my head are telling me to do different things or reaching for different things? How do I make sense of my own inner world when I'm getting pulled in two different directions? Does that resonate?
Yes.
So specifically for you, your brain, you're describing that your mind takes you to bigger visions and your heart feels satisfied with smaller vision.
Exactly.
I mean, just right now in this moment, which would you like? What's your fantasy of what I'm going to say? What do you hope I will say?
Meet halfway.
What would that look like? People are loving this question, by the way, freaking out.
For example, if we're talking about business-wise, let's work for a couple of months and then take 6 months off on the beach house and then work again for a couple of months and so on. I'd call it halfway.
So let me give you a mental image to play with and then chew on it with me, without me. My proposal for you in particular is that you visualize a kind of conference table or retreat or whatever mental model works, but a gathering of these different parts of you. So there's a part of you that's got a big vision. There's a part of you that's like pretty content where you are. You've got a part of you that wants to work, that wants to serve, that wants to do stuff, that wants to grow, that wants to make more money. And you've got another part that's like 6 months vacation, please.
Yes.
So rather than trying to choose one, let's go with your fantasy of like meeting in the middle and bring them to the conversation. Like, yeah, we're a team. Y'all are all part of me. Let's figure this out together. And here's the game-changing piece for you, Nyla. Based on how you came into this conversation, is to expect there to be a beautiful solution or vision that meets the desires of everyone. So that it's not, you're not trying to do either or. You're not trying to choose one. You're only interested in the thing that's going to actually meet the desires and the needs of each part of you. When you hold that as the standard, you will see different possibilities than if you kind of turn it into a dualistic paradigm and you feel like you have to do either or.
Yes.
What are you getting from this?
I can see the beautiful picture combining the whole thing together, every piece, different jigsaw puzzles and different pictures, taking few and create a new one.
Beautiful. Yeah, like a collage or something.
Exactly.
So one of the things that I know that not everybody knows is that you can have a business where you don't work for 6 months. So that's where just to name that's a mindset shift, right? Because I've worked on my mindset and I kind of know that more is always possible. I know that what's wanted is possible. So I know, Nyla, that if what you want is a business where you don't work for 6 months, I know you can create that. I know it. I don't have any noise around that. I'm just using that as an example because it's kind of extreme.
Yes.
So your job is to want what you want and know that what you want is wanted by the world. What's good for you is good.
Yes.
What's growthful for you is growthful, period. So lean into that as you vision with yourself. Write it out, draw it out, make a freaking movie if you want to.
Will do. Definitely.
Yeah. So was that helpful?
Yes, very, very, very much. Thank you so much, Jessie. Really appreciate it.
You're so welcome. My honor, my pleasure. I'm so happy to meet you. What can we all do to help you? Anything that you want to ask from the collective? Because I'm asking in part because you got a lot of people like really resonating with you. I think you've got a lot of people tuning in who are like, whoa, this woman, yes. So what could we do to support you?
I don't know. This is the first time for me to do this. There's always first time for everything.
Yes. Yes. So let that be one of your koans that you ask yourself, like, what could I ask for? Like, people love to help. People love to serve. It's generous for you to be willing to say, hey, y'all, can you ... Can y'all pray for me? Can y'all follow me on Instagram? Can y'all promote this post that I just made? Can y'all just send me some good vibes that I'm going to come up with this vision that feels really good? Like anything. When you make requests, it invites people into relationship, into more connection. So people are hungry for it. Does that give you any ideas? Do you want to make an ask right now?
I'll ask for prayers.
Beautiful.
Definitely,
Beautiful.
and support.
Beautiful. So let yourself feel what it is to ask and receive, because it's happening. Can you feel it?
Of course.
Yeah. Beautiful. And so it is. Keep us posted. Keep letting us know how we can serve you.
Definitely. It's a pleasure talking to you, Jessie.
You too, Nyla. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. You're welcome. All right, y'all. Yeah, beautiful questions today. Thank you so much. So we'll just wrap up here today. And I want to remind you now that your questions matter. They matter for you. They matter for the world, right? When Nyla brought that question in, it woke something up for everyone, not just her question. When you have a question, almost guaranteed other people are having that question. So that's one of the truths of group, right? Like group process, group dynamics is that when a question emerges in the room, it's almost never only one person's question. So trust that and give attention, love, devotion to your questions. Write them down, put them on your altar, hold them in the possibility and mystery that they hold for you. Mystery and possibility. That's what questions do to us. Those are both really powerful energies to call into your life. So cultivate your questions as a way of cultivating the mystery, cultivating the possibility. And know that we will continue to show up every single Thursday to serve you in finding answers to those questions. Sometimes I will give you an answer and you won't like it and you'll find the actual answer. Okay. But the point is that talking about it, letting the question be heard and seen by the collective is powerful. And this is a space for you. If you want to go even deeper, come to the Money Mindset and Meditation Virtual Retreat happening July 10th and 11th. It's going to be next level amazing because we are going to be incorporating this work around service, money, purpose, vision, how to use your gift to build multiple 6-7-figure business, whatever it is that's wanted, whatever it is that you want. And that event is catalytic. Like people leave that event and make their first 5-figure sale. They leave that event and have their first $30,000 month, they leave that event and have their first $100,000 month. I mean, it's like people get huge results when they do the work. And again, there's this phenomenon of taking what you learn and doing something with it. So you can start practicing that immediately, just from today. What did you learn today? What are you going to do with it? It may be that one of the things that you learned is that there's something here for you. There's a transmission that's happening here that lights you up, that expands something for you. And if that's happening, one of the things you can do with it is sign up to do some deeper work. Book a strategy call with me. Sign up for Money Mindset Meditation Retreat. Like whatever it is that calls to you, trust that. Let yourself take the new action. My loves, you are brilliant. You are beautiful. I'm so honored to know you. Thank you to Lar, Rasa, and Nyla for your brilliant questions. Thank you, as always, to my amazing team for their support, making all this so easy for us. Blessings and love, and see you very soon. Shri and I will be on tomorrow night for another deep conversation on race, spirituality, and success. Those are so amazing. If you haven't tuned into those, there's hours to catch up on, and you can just go kind of backwards. They're super fun and interesting, and tomorrow is going to be incredible. And then Kirtan on Sunday. Tuesday, another conversation about race, spirituality, and success. We're doing those twice a week all through June. And then Wednesday's training on the dark crystal. In case y'all haven't noticed, I'm a super geek about sci-fi and fantasy. Little outing myself there. This will be the last movie with a message for the month. We're going to shift themes next month, so come and enjoy that. And then Thursday, we'll be back here for open forum again. So if you have questions, go ahead and submit them now. Like you don't need to wait until Thursday next week. You're welcome to, but you don't need to. So send your questions. Let's fill up the world with your exploration, your growth. Love you all so much. Enjoy your weekend next week.